I had to go into my vast audio archives, Bill, and dig out some Iranian funeral music in honor of the Iron Sheik who passed away, a wrestling legend. Now, I wasn't a wrestling watcher as a kid. We weren't allowed to watch professional wrestling. But listen, I wrestled in high school and college and tried to emulate the Iron Sheik's moves. And that didn't go over so well. I got disqualified a few times for trying his moves. The camel clutch, wasn't that the big famous one? Hossein Khosrow Ali Vaziri was better known as the Iron Sheik. He died at 81 years old. People, if you followed him on Twitter, where everything was angry in all caps. Now, he wasn't doing those himself, but it was still funny. He had a couple of guys that would run his Twitter account. And if you were a fan of that kind of golden age there of wrestling, he's in the WWE Hall of Fame, and he was always cursing at Hulk Hogan. I do remember that. He was one of those guys that kind of was bigger than wrestling, or even if you didn't follow along, you know, I had enough
awareness. Yeah.
Well, and I had enough friends who were into it. I was really the outlier in that, where I, you know, by osmosis would pick up a few things, and you knew who the Iron Sheik was.
Mm-hmm. Rest in peace, Iron Sheik. F you, Hulk Hogan.
Right. That was his. He was always telling Hulk Hogan to
F off.
Yeah, just some variation thereof. He was the only wrestler who never broke character for 40 years. Mm-hmm. Every time this guy did something, he was acting like the Iron Sheik. And I never met the man, never, you know, I've tried to live by his mantra, never give up or you are big-time jabroni. I've had that knitted into a pillow at Casa Cox. So
jabroni is such a funny word.
It is.
Isn't it a silly one?
Never give up or you are big-time jabroni. So R.I.P. to the Iron Sheik, who lived hard for a long, long time. This is not a guy who was in great shape. You know, he kind of had a big belly.
I mean, in his prime, he looked pretty good.
Did he? I mean,
in the 80s,
he kind of looked a little bit thinner than he did towards the end, but
he was, I mean, he was
never like shredded.
He was never shredded, but he was like, I mean, he was very muscular.
In wrestling shape.
Yeah.
There's a documentary, I think, I'm sure you can find somewhere they did called The Sheik that's kind of entertaining. But this was a guy, he was married, he had kids. One of his daughters back in the day was murdered by her boyfriend, which was sad. But this was a guy who did cocaine well into his 60s. And that, I have to imagine, had something to do. You know, I didn't read at all how he died, and probably his heart gave out. But 81 is a pretty good run for everything that he did to his body, both externally and internally. That's a pretty good run. It makes you, you know, if you think of life as a zero-sum game, you know, people would probably be pretty upset at somebody who put his body through all that dying at 81, where other people are taking care of themselves and they're flopping over on a track at 5 a.m. at 52. But the Iron Sheik, for people who paid attention to that guy back in the day, I remember friends of mine would have the action figures. And I recall the most coveted ones being there was Hulk Hogan, there was Sergeant Slaughter, and then there was the Iron Sheik. Because he looked so, you know, he looked so wild. He had the headwear and the whole thing, and he was always cursing. And when you're a kid, that's a lot of fun. Rowdy Roddy Piper, you know, these guys. Those are the guys that I just kind of remember being in the ether. But the Iron Sheik has been around for a long, long time. And he lived, even though he didn't know this, but he lived just long enough to see iOS 17. The new operating system over there. If you're a Mac user, they have this thing called the Worldwide Developers Conference. It's called WWDC. And it's when everybody whips out all their stuff. And Apple has not really, you know, they haven't really innovated for quite some time. I mean, this VR goggle or whatever they've got is really their first hardware innovation in quite some time. So they've been left to just kind of tweak things that are features otherwise in their operating system. And one of those that they announced is that if you use autocorrect, if you're an iPhone user and you use autocorrect, you can curse now. It will remember if you curse a lot. You know, if I don't use predictive text, I write everything out. But a lot of people do that. It's faster. They find it more convenient. But it would always correct your curses to something else. Ducking hell.
I was going to say.
Yeah, ducking hell is the phrase that I saw pop up a lot. And it won't autocorrect to that anymore. So, you know, Apple is dipping their toe in the AI thing here. And so that'll detect when you really mean to use, using your context clues. Now, for people who'd like to use the word ducking, you know, hopefully it'll learn that too, that you're not using that as a substitution for an expletive. But this is kind of where we are now, is that there aren't quantum leaps being made in this space. So their big announcements are, hey, now you can use the F word with reckless abandon on our phones in our new operating system. And they'll toss in a couple of, you know, perfunctory safety features or whatever. But in the earliest days of AI here, we're going to look back on these times as the good old days. Years from now, when AI is destabilizing nations around the world through misinformation and disinformation, we're going to look back on ducking hell as really that was the great time in AI.
All these comedians that have duck instead of the F word on their merch are going to have to sell it as nostalgia merch now.
Are there people that do that? They have duck instead of the F word?
Yeah, well, there's one guy specifically that I remember that had something about that, like "Let's Duck" or something like that. It was just a dumb shirt that he sold, and he's been selling that for 15, 20 years.
Well, then he had a good run.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now he can change it to the F word, like he's Marilyn Manson.
Autocorrect is also getting more capable with refreshed design to better support you as you type. And in those moments where you just want to type a ducking word, well, the keyboard will learn it too.
Yeah.
About time.
That's what their senior vice president of software engineering has been working on. We want to make the UX of the brand new iPhone or the iOS 17 all it can be, which means you guys now can curse. Awesome. Well, that's very exciting for people who like to fill their texts with expletives. And, you know, I like to be a little bit more laid back in my texts. That's why when you text me, and you guys know this, sometimes when you text me, you'll get a one-word answer.
Yes.
Yes. Or no.
Or not even, just a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Or a sunglasses emoji.
Yeah, that's right.
Gets the job done.
Yes. I thought that's what everybody wanted. They wanted their conversations to be as brief as possible. I don't know why people are chastising me for being so succinct. That's what people. That's the whole point of emojis.
It's just a
words are too long. Let's just use pictures.
It's just there's a huge difference between talking Alan and texting Alan.
Of course.
Talking Alan uses many words.
There you go. Texting Alan isn't paid for his text.
Mm-hmm. Kind of are when we're texting each other. Like that's work stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, the shorthand is fine, too. So, Alan the Iron Sheik died on Prince's birthday. Oh, yeah, Prince. Right, his birthday today. How old would Prince have been? 64?
520.
He's born in 58.
Oh.
63? 60, what's his 2023? 65, right? He would have been 65 years old?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, look at that. Prince. Remember that guy, Prince?
Yeah.
Remember?
Love Prince.
He was a guitarist, with a big afro.
Yeah. Afro? I mean, I guess he had afro.
Towards the end, yeah, he grew it all out. He went all natural. For a while.
It was always kind of long. It just was more Jerry curlish.
Yeah, let it go out.
Yeah.
And set it down.
Yep.
You want to get back to his roots.
I'm excited for that to come back. I think eventually we're going to get the Jerry curl back, and it's going to be awesome.
You want the Jerry curl to come back.
Yeah. It's a good look.
I like the girls who let their hair grow out.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a phenomenal look, man. When they just go, let it poof.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. It's gorgeous.
It's a great look.
Erykah Badu or Jill Scott or, ooh, man. Hacha. Poundcake, I don't want to leave him out. He's growing his hair out, right? You're letting it go straight out. Look at that.
It's the best I've ever looked.
You can go straight up. Now tell me. Yeah. That's the best. This is the best you've ever looked? Don't
Right.
slouch.
I'm not.
Yeah, you are. Don't slouch. You
This
doing
is-
all this working out? Is it when you start working out? I mean,
Dude, look at those biceps.
That's what I'm
Yes,
saying.
yes,
Look
this
at
is
him.
the best I've ever looked.
I
Well, then
know.
why are you slouching? That
You should
immediately
have that arm up the entire show. Like, there's
Never
be
put it
flexed.
down.
Whole show flexed.
Especially if you have a t-shirt on like
Visible
that.
muscle.
Like, yeah, look at that.
Yeah, this is why I wear t-shirts like these are
I know.
like shirts I usually like.
Would use like an
workout in.
undershirt, yeah.
Yeah, but like I have so much WMMS stuff, and I'm like, I would definitely like wear these because they complement my body well. Like they,
yeah, you
they
get him in a medium.
hug my cute little pecs, and then like my arms, like I pop out. My boyfriend's
My
like,
cute
oh,
little pecs.
yeah, I have them.
You got perky little pecs.
I know, but the
rather
way
than
he,
moves,
the way he says it, my cute little pecs.
my cute little pecs. But it is, until
Are you back to working out yet or next week?
I'm starting next week.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm starting next week.
Take a couple weeks off.
So I'm
let the body recover.
I was gonna say, why would you take a couple weeks off?
I'm lazy.
I'm not lazy,
I'm joking.
He stopped getting paid. That's why he stopped getting paid to work out.
but I'm going back.
Are they starting to pay you for working out again?
No, but I'm going back because I want to work out.
All right. Well, good. No, what are you yelling at me for?
Good.
Good work.
But-
He's got his high beams on in there.
But I'm gonna pick
Cute
out.
little pecs.
Is it bad? Is it bad that I'm
No,
gonna?
it's a black T-shirt.
Yeah,
I
we
can't
can't
tell.
tell.
You and I are cut from the same cloth. We both are always nipping out. I'm always nipping out.
And I don't know why it's like that. Even when I was like bigger, even when I had like my moves, they still kind of like perked out. Like maybe just because it got them like the shirts that I was wearing were like really tight, and it would like I don't know get them all excited or something. I don't know why they would perk out like that, but yeah, always got the nipples ready to cut glass.
Yeah. Turkey's done. Also on that iOS 17 front, Stansbury and I were talking about this earlier on his show. That part of iOS 17 is they want to make it easier for adults and minors to avoid unsolicited nude pictures.
Solicited.
Huh?
Who's getting unsolicited nudes?
Well, there's dudes walking around.
What?
Everybody.
Oh, you mean
Have you
like-
ever talked to a woman?
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, there's dudes walking around airdropping their D
Okay.
to whoever's around them.
I was just I don't think I've gotten a nude that I didn't want.
No,
So I'm
you
like,
probably haven't, but there's all kinds of people get unsolicited D pics.
people do that.
People have done that on airplanes.
Yeah. So, right.
300 people who can't
But I
escape
didn't think
you.
that. I think that was like something
Rows
that
25 through 30 got mine.
Right.
I was thinking like it's not something that they weren't expecting it, but I didn't know it was like a problem. Like you can just
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Everything revolving technology and sex is a problem, or will soon be. So as it was explained to me, the way that they're doing this is you will get a notification on your phone that someone has sent you a nude, and do you want to accept? So
That's kind of cool.
I think so.
like that.
I think it's useful. It's very useful. Now, let's say 9 times out of 10 it is somebody you know, and you say yes, sure. But even if it's somebody you don't know, you could say yes. Now you got a screen grab, whatever. I mean, you're just
what if it's
you're sending someone evidence if it's unsolicited.
it's gonna be a selfie of someone and they're like, sorry, my phone just thought you were a butthole. Like, sorry. would you like to accept this? Like someone just sends a picture and it's like so-and-so sent you a nude. You open it up and you're like, it's just a selfie. I don't understand. It's like, well, I guess my phone you're real ugly and my phone just thought that you were.
Oh yeah.
the
Oh, I
rear
see. It
end of
comes
someone.
across as a nude, but it's not.
We mistaked your face for
Mistaked. We mistaked your face.
mistook.
iMessage nudity protections are coming to AirDrop, FaceTime messages, and Photo Picker. So, yeah, you'll get a notification, should you turn it on, by the way, that will automatically blur nude images before it'll say, this could be sensitive. Are you sure you want to view it? See, this is helpful,
Okay.
right? Because all Apple's doing, they got this, and then they did their big headset reveal. This thing. They keep trying to make headsets happen, man. I mean, they're way cool. I mean, they're cool, but they're just expensive toys. If you saw any of the video from the WWDC when they were rolling out what they were doing, there was this huge group of people that were so excited when they're talking about their big VR headset. It's called like the Pro something, Apple. But an audible groan from the audience when they told them what the price was. It's $3,500.
Good Lord.
And it's super cool. They're like, hey, it's really cool. FaceTime calls and movies and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, it's still just an expensive novelty toy.
Yeah.
They're still not getting people. You know, Facebook bought Oculus from Palmer Luckey 10 years ago, and it never took off. Zuckerberg shoveling tens of billions of dollars in the metaverse, convinced that it was going to take off, because tech nerds think because that's their idea of utopia. I can be anyone I want, and I don't have to talk to real people. They were convinced that that was going to be the wave of the world. And so they keep rolling out these VR headsets, which, again, are super cool. They're really fun, but they're just really expensive toys. People aren't going to be living in their homes. What's the Bruce Willis movie, Imposters or something, where people are all in their homes on these and they send out, you know, meat bags that look like them.
Surrogates?
Oh, Wall-E.
Surrogates or something. Huh?
Yeah.
Wall-E?
Not Wally.
Wall-E.
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 Hey, Wall-E.
So anyway, listen, download that iOS 17. I think it's still in beta, but when you get it, you're going to be able to review all your nudes. And then once you put those through Midjourney and send them back, holy cow.
That's Cody's next podcast, Nude Review with
Yep.
Poundcake.
That's right.
Oh, that would be a great podcast. Thanks for my next idea.
You're welcome.
I'm going to take a break here. If you want to send a text, 35192. I'll have Buzzard Fest tickets for you, closer to 320. Another trip to Vegas around 5:30 is a keyword that could get you to our iHeartRadio Music Festival later part of September this year. And we'll be back.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. And everywhere you go on our free iHeartRadio